What's going on, everyone? AJ here. I'm going to go ahead and clean my Glock 26 today, so I figured I'd make a video about it and show you guys what I do. First, I'm going to safety check the weapon. So go ahead and drop the magazine. And there's nothing in the chamber. We'll go ahead and close it up. So the first thing we need to do is get the trigger to the rearmost position, so we're going to fire it in a safe direction here. From there, I'm going to go ahead and take an overhand grip over the slide. Pull the slide back about 1/4 of an inch and then pull down the slide lock lever. From there I can push the slide forward and you'll see it's going to release it from the frame. So we'll go ahead and set both of these pieces down. Now we can kind of get into the inner workings of the firearm. First thing I'm going to do is remove the recoil spring assembly and put that to the side. And I'm also going to remove the barrel and put that to the side as well. For this video, that's about as far as I'm going to break the gun down because it's not very dirty right now. You can definitely break down the slide in the frame much further, and I do have some videos up about how to do that, so feel free to take a look at those. The next thing I'm going to do is grab some Ballistol. I'm going to coat my barrel on the inside and outside with this, and then set it to the side. That's going to help break down a lot of the deposits in there and make it easy to remove them later on in the cleaning process. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real fast. And I'm just going to kind of rub it around my fingers and then put it to the side and let this stuff kind of work its magic. From there I can move on to the slide. When you're cleaning your slide, it's recommended that you do so with the muzzle facing in a downward direction. This is so that as you stir up debris while you're cleaning, you don't get them in your striker channel, because you definitely don't want to get anything in there as much as possible. So when I clean my slide, it's kind of a two-step thing. The first half, which is going to be the muzzle end, I clean with a patch that has a small amount of Ballistol on it, and then after that I take a clean patch and I dry it out completely. And the rear half I only clean with a dry patch. You don't want really any oil or any kind of product to touch the back end of this because it just causes you to get a lot of buildup back there. I also use a Q-tip. I'm going to use that to get into all the small channels and small areas. Right now I'm going to start doing that, and I'll be back in just a moment and we'll move on to the frame of the gun. Now I'm going to move on to the frame of the gun. With the frame I'm only going to use a dry patch and then a Q-tip that I'm going to soak with a small amount of rubbing alcohol. Definitely you don't want to use any kind of oil or really anything else besides the rubbing alcohol within the frame, because again it presents an issue where dirt and debris can stick a lot easier. So from here I'm going to go ahead and start just wiping down all the surfaces, especially areas where there might be some residual oil buildup, like along these pieces right here and towards the rear. And once I'm satisfied that I've gotten any bits of oil out, I'll go ahead and take my Q-tip and I'm going to start working through all the small little crevices and areas within the firearm until I'm satisfied that I've gotten it clean enough that I'll be happy. I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this, and I'll be right back in a moment to show you how I clean the barrel of my gun. Now all I have left are my barrel and my recoil spring assembly. The recoil spring assembly I'm just going to put to the side. I don't really do much with that. And that leaves me with the barrel. So the first thing I'm going to do is wipe down the outside because we coated it with the Ballistol earlier. Start on the outside because it makes it a little less messy. So I want to go ahead and make sure I wipe this off really good. Get any junk off of there that is built up from me shooting it today. Make sure you get in all the little areas, the feed ramp, this little groove right here. You'll see a lot of good stuff coming off. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a clean patch and go over it one more time. Alright, and from there I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Glock tool with the nylon brush on the end. I'm going to put a little bit of the Ballistol on there, and I'm going to go ahead and work it through the barrel. I want to go from this end, from the back to the front, and I'm going to go through there a few times. This is going to help break up any of the gunk that's inside of there. Just go through a few times. You'll see that the brush is getting pretty dirty now. So the Ballistol is doing its job. Alright, now when I'm satisfied with that, I'll go ahead and remove this brush, and I'm just going to use the patch jag, which is going to be just on the end of this Glock tool, this little slot right here. And I'm going to go ahead and start running clean patches through it. If I can get one in there. I'm just going to go ahead and move it through in the same direction that I was running the brush through. And this will start picking up any of the leftover residue in there. Now with this step, it's up to you how clean you want to get the barrel. I like to get mine pretty clean, but I'm not going to go overboard because I know I take this gun out many times a week, and it's not like I'm going to go ahead and put it in the safe and store it for a long time, or I'm selling it to someone else. So I'm just going to get it pretty clean, and I'll be happy with that. I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and from there I'll be right back for the reassembly. Alright, now before I go ahead and put everything back together, I'm going to quickly oil the gun here. When I oil it, I always remember 3, 2, and 1, and I remember that because that's how many drops of oil are going to go on each piece of this firearm before I put it back together. So when I'm oiling, I tend to use like a small dropper like this because it seems to work easy and I have a lot of control with it. Everyone's kind of got their own method, but this seems to work for me. So on the slide, I'm going to put 3 drops, and you definitely want to make sure they're small drops. So the first drop is going to go towards the front of the slide where your barrel is going to rub. And I'm going to take my finger and kind of smear that around up here, like so. And then the other 2 drops are going to go 1 on each rail. Again, using very small drops, I'm going to put 1 there and 1 there. And then when I put this back together, the frame is going to go ahead and spread that out along the rails. On the barrel, I'm going to put 2 drops. The first drop is going to go right inside of this groove where this lug is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 drop right in there. And then the second drop, I'm going to go ahead and put towards the front half of the barrel right here. And then again, I'm just going to go and use my finger and smear that around the front half of the barrel. And then last but not least, I'm going to put 1 drop on the frame, and then that 1 drop is just going to go in the very back right corner, right over here, where you have a little bit of metal on metal contact. Glock says this is one of those critical spots that you don't want to forget to put a drop. Alright, so now we have everything oiled, and we're going to go ahead and reassemble this firearm. First thing I'm going to do is take the slide, and I'm going to drop the barrel back in it, like so. From there, I'm going to put my recoil spring assembly back in. And this is another one of those critical things. You want to make sure that when you put the recoil assembly back in, that you push it down onto the second step, not on the first step, so you prevent any damage to the assembly there. Alright, from there I'm just going to go ahead and line the rails up, and then pull the slide back. And from there I'm just going to test for function in a safe direction. Check my trigger reset. Put the magazine in. Make sure it locks back like it should. And we should be in business. Thank you guys for tuning in. Feel free to like my channel and subscribe. This is Paranormal AJ signing out.